Hey family, addict named Billy P. I get asked by quite a few people, why do I still, identify myself as an addict and an alcoholic? And bottom line is this: in my opinion, there is no difference between an addict and an alcoholic. It's a disease of addiction. I hear people say, well, you're a pastor, and listen, I know who I am today. I don't need anybody to tell me that. And yes, I know who the King of Kings is, and I know who my strong tower is, and I know that I'm not the person that I once was, but I also know that I will have this disease until God himself takes me home. I also know that I'm going to continue doing what works to treat my disease and to help me be the husband that my wife deserves, and to be the father that my kids deserve, to be the son that my parents have been missing out on for quite a few 24 hours. I got high for one of three reasons. I either didn't like the way I felt, or I wanted to feel different. 9 out of 10 times for myself, I didn't want to feel anything at all. That's exactly what it did for me. Every single time. It worked every time I put it in my body. I hear people say, oh, it's a choice. It's not a choice. At the beginning, it was a choice. When I was extremely young, it was a choice. My choice stopped when I crossed that borderline in 1989 BC. That's before crack. That's when getting high for this dope fiend become a full-time job. Do I believe that people get cured? No. No, I don't. I feel bad for the people who are misled to think that they're cured. Because if you're cured, that means that I would be able to go out, man, and have a beer. It's impossible for me. If I'm cured, that means I would be able to go out and smoke one joint. That's impossible for me. My problem is I have the disease that's progressive, incurable, and fatal, and it's not a choice. I didn't sign up for it. None of us says, hey, when I grow up, I want to be an addict. Look, dude, I said from the longest time, I would never smoke crack. I said I would never be that crackhead. I said I would never be that junkie. I'll never shoot dope. I'll never do this, and I'll never do that. And you know what? In the process of me and my active addiction, after 20 years, I became that crackhead. I became that heroin addict. I became the junkie, the whore, the liar, the thief, all of it. I became everything that I said I would never become. I did not volunteer. I did not choose to be that person. This disease is so powerful, cunning, and baffling that it tells us and it lies to us, and it says, one more. Everything will be different after one more. And I believed them lies, man, for an extremely long time. People say, as I was growing up, my family members and people who cared about me, the ones that I hurt the worst, they would say, why don't you just stop? Why can't you just stop? Why don't you quit getting high? And I would say, look, I'm not getting high. I'm getting right. I quit getting high a while ago. You see, I got to that point in life where I knew what it was going to take in order for my body to physically make it. We don't call that getting high, people. We call that getting right. And I'm still miserable. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed of the person that I was at that point. Remember, I didn't volunteer for it. If it was as easy as a choice and a decision for us to not do it, we would not have the problems that we have in today's world. We have more kids shooting heroin than we ever have before. Today our problem is heroin because of the government's wise choices and wise decisions, and because of the doctors and the politicians and the lawmakers. Mark my word, 5 years from now, our problem probably isn't going to be heroin anymore. Our problem is probably going to end up becoming Suboxone because they want to give it to everybody out there. Listen to me. All that is a Band-Aid. All that is a way to make the rich people rich and the broken, lost people to stay broken and lost. My problem is not the drugs and the alcohol. My problem is the inability to control the use of drugs and alcohol is the symptom of the disease of addiction. My problem is me. I have this disease. The answer is not in a pill. The answer is not in some kind of special medication. I'm looking for freedom. Not just freedom from active addiction. I was looking for freedom from self. And today I found it. I not only am free from active addiction, but I'm freed from self. I got that through the 12-step program. I got that from a God of my understanding. And that first step, you know, that we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, our lives become unmanageable. That was hard for me. It was hard for me to admit defeat. It was hard for me to say that I had to admit that I was powerless over anything. That goes against everything that the streets told me. That goes against everything that the clubs told me. It goes against what I believed made a man a man. I believed a man didn't say that he was powerless. Step 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I finally had to believe in something, and I did. And then I went on to step 3, which is an amazing step. We made the decision to turn our lives and our wills over to the care of God as we understood Him. For the first time in my life, it got to be my God, not the God that the judicial system gave me, not the God that I grew up with that my mom and dad gave me. For the first time in my life, I got to choose who my God was. And that was a very crucial part in my recovery. I tell it to people all over the United States. If you don't have God in your program, you're wasting good get high time. Because sooner or later, you're going to be at a point in your life where 1, you don't have a book to read, no literature. 2, there's not a meeting to go to. 3, you're nowhere near a phone to call somebody. And that disease is going to come at you just like it comes at me. And it's going to talk believable crap. And let me tell you something. If you ain't got a relationship with a God of your understanding, I feel bad for you, because that's what's kept me clean and sober for quite some time. The meetings don't keep me clean and sober, and the people at the meetings don't keep me clean and sober. The steps and the traditions keep me clean and sober. Application and applying them to every area of my life keep me clean and sober. For you people that are out there that don't understand it and you think that it's a choice, good for you. All that means is you're not an addict. You don't suffer from this disease. For the people that have it and the people that understand it, I hope that they definitely understand that it's a disease. I know that this addict's going to have it until God takes me home. I'm no longer going to hell anymore, like religion told me I was doing. I know where I'm going today. I just quit speeding up the process. If it was a choice, we wouldn't have the problems that we have right now. It's going to take people, addicts, in recovery. It's going to take recovering addicts, recovering alcoholics. It's going to take family members of addicts, codependent people, to finally stand up and say we've had enough and draw that line. Quit being ashamed and quit being embarrassed, because I'm telling you, it's affecting every family in the whole entire world. And change is going to happen when we all group up together and we all go out there and we deliver a message and we be used by God and we do something amazing with ourselves. Do you understand? We make all the mistakes in the world, and we come to the point where we feel like we're unlovable and we feel like we're hopeless. And listen, just because we make mistakes does not mean that we're mistakes. I'm not a mistake no more. Through this program, God has taken every trial that I've got and He's turned it into His triumph. Not my triumph, our triumph. Do you realize God's going to take the nobodies and the low lives of societies and the people that say never going to amount to nothing, and He is preparing an army, and He's going to grip us up, and He's going to school us up, us people in recovery, family members who are in recovery, codependent people. You're addicted to the addict. Do you understand that God's going to make an army of us, and He's going to shake the pillars of the earth that's busted right now and broken? You can say, Bill, you really believe that? I'm going to say, yes, I do. I believe it because I see it. I see it in the making. I do have a choice today. Just because I'm not responsible for my disease, I am 100% responsible for my recovery. Today, after a couple 24 hours since November 11, 2004, and by God's grace in a 12-step program, I have not had to put nothing in my body that changes the way that I think or the way that I feel. My choice today, I still put nothing in front of my program. I put nothing in front of my recovery. Why? Because I'm not cured. I still go get educated. I still do what I need to do to maintain my sobriety. Why? Why would I think that I can do one of anything when it took God and society 20 long years to turn it off? Why would I do anything to turn it on? Choice? No, it ain't a choice. Do I have a choice once I found freedom from active addiction and freedom from self? Yes. Today I choose to try to be a better person than I was yesterday. And I'm not even going to worry about tomorrow. My choices today, I can make. Just because I have no control of the direction of the wind, because of God and the 12-step program, I have total control of the position of my sail. So for you people who keep saying, oh, just stop, oh, it's a choice, wake up. If it was a choice, man, our world wouldn't be the way that it is right now. Doctors don't even understand it. They want to give you a Vicodins, and they want to give them to you for 2 years. And then all of a sudden one day you want to go in there and you think that you're going to get what you've been getting for the past 2 years. And you go in there and this doctor, he or she, they just says, well, we're going to take you off the Vicodin today. And they send you out on your merry way. And when you get out there on your merry way, you're sick. You're sick as a dog. And then you find out that you can just buy what you really need to get right. Not get high, but get right out on the streets. And maybe somebody introduces you to heroin, and they tell you a blow costs you $10, and God help you then. Because I'm telling you, the only way to stop and to find true freedom from active addiction and freedom from self is through a 12-step program, building a relationship with God, finding the ingredients, man, that makes your recipe that equals success, happiness, love, compassion. I might not be the man that I want to be, but I know I'm more than a man today than I ever have been. And I know that I'm going to continue to embark on this journey, and I'm going to continue to give a message of hope that any addict can lose the desire to get high and find a new way to live. Any addict can find not just freedom from active addiction, but freedom from self. Come on, join us. You're not excluded. You ain't no worse than we are, and we ain't no better than you. We're just alike. Did you see that happy smile I got? Recovery in God's given me that. 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month and 1 year. The moment is what I want to live in today. Not worrying about what I did wrong yesterday or wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. I want to enjoy what I have, which is the moment. The choices that I have today. Today I choose to live instead of exist.